quick trade recap for today. Um, I took this really nice short on NQ, and I want to get into that right quick. So going into market open, I had a bearish bias. Um, so basically, hang on, let me go to pre-market. So going into today, I had a bearish bias. Now, why am I bearish? So I recognize that the bigger time frame is actually in a buy model. We are pretty obviously in this market maker buy model here. We are coming from sweeping sell side on the bigger time frame, and we're also coming from these daily fair value gaps. This is also a weekly fair value gap. So sell side's been swept on a bigger time frame. We're clearly displacing up, running through these day bearish imbalances. So it's obvious that we are bullish on the bigger time frame. But why am I bearish going into today? Because we had this bearish SMT at market open, and then more importantly than that, I'd say the reaction of the SMT is this large 1 hour bullish fair value gap getting completely violated. The market turns it to an inverse, and then within like 3 seconds of getting on the charts this morning, I see these relative equal lows. I see that, which is also this intermediate low, the low inside of the fair value gap, and this automatically catches my eye as a nice draw on liquidity. So at market open, we pretty quickly get hang on, I gotta fast forward a little bit. We pretty quickly get a bearish SMT, like immediately going into market open. So here, market opens, we trade higher, take out this internal high. ES is nowhere near the high, and then I also really like that we come up and we tap this 15-minute fair value gap. I can't talk. Holy crap! Because notice on this entire price leg here, this is the highest fair value gap. Like this is the most premium 15-minute fair value gap. Notice this is all balanced price action here. There's no fair value gap, and I like how we come up. We tap this beautifully. We also rebalance to equilibrium of this price leg. So if you measure from the high to the low, as you can see, we come right above 50%. And then obviously we are working out of this bigger time frame, 1 hour inverse. So we initially get a little bit of a sell-off here, but this is not what I'm looking for here. So we get this, but there's no model for me. There's not even a 30-second inverse. There wasn't even a 15-second inverse up here. So we just start to move lower, and I'm like, okay, if this goes, I'm not interested in this. I want to see more price action here. I want to see I want to see a little bit more manipulation than I want to see an inverse for value gap. So I fade this setup here. We end up getting a little bit of a rebalance here, and then right here we put in this bullish fair value gap here. So this is a 1 minute fair value gap, and I'm like, okay, I want this to get ran through now. I want this to become an inverse. So this candle here does not quite invert it, but the next one does. Now I actually ended up taking my entry like right here, like a little bit before this candle actually closed, because I pretty much just knew this move was coming. Like as soon as I saw this candle open, trade higher, and then immediately reject and start to sell off, it was like right here that I clicked sell. And then my initial stop was at consequent encroachment of these wicks, and I just wanted to see all of this low resistance sell side get ran. So we end up rebalancing to this inverse a couple of times here. So this was now an inverse. So this next candle here comes all the way back up, rebalances to the inverse, nice reaction. And then we come up again, rebalance to the inverse again, and then we get a nice sell-off here. So I went break even at this low, and I actually ended up trailing my stop to this high right here. Like, not this high, like these body candle closures right here, basically. And I almost got stopped in profit, which would have been stupid, but honestly, I don't really think there's a reason to trail it here instead of just break even, which was like right here. But I did anyways. But we ended up coming all the way back up, like edging the TP and then coming all the way back up. And I kind of almost got stopped, like literally, like I said, this was my limit right here. So I mean, I survived by like less than 3 points. But then we ended up putting in like a 2 minute bullish for value gap, and then that just gets absolutely violated, and the market completes the move very cleanly. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Really nice trade today. Now we ended up selling off like an extra almost 150 points after this. Now I don't like. Yeah, it's annoying that like all I would have had to do was just like hold, and I would have made like a lot more. But that's not necessarily what matters. Like my job as a trader is not try to catch the biggest move possible. It's not try to make the most amount of money. It's to take what I'm confident in. So I mean, when I see this SMT, I see that we're rejecting the 15 minute. I see that we've got the SMT at a previous day's high. I see that the 1 hour is clearly displacing lower, complete like straight through this bullish gap. Then once all of that happens and then market opens, we get manipulation immediately, sell off. Like notice this massive wick here. And then we get this 1 minute inverse. Once all of that happens, I know that we're going to some form of sell side liquidity. So I'm looking at these lows, and I'm looking at this low over here, which is the 15-minute intermediate low right here. So like I'm not trying to catch this massive entire move, right? Like I didn't necessarily expect us to go all the way here. as quickly as we did, basically, is what I'm saying. Because, I mean, we end up taking that low, yeah. Like, this low ends up getting taken. I think this is a daily intermediate low as well. If I'm not, okay, no, this is the daily intermediate low. Never mind. So, I mean, I guess you could have held that too, because, okay, this was the hourly intermediate low. That's what it was. But this was also an hourly intermediate low, and this is where I took my full position off. But like I said, your job as a trader is not to try to make the most amount of money every single day. It's to take clean trades, just only trade your model and take what you're confident in, which was these relative equal lows. So, yeah, let me show the executions. I think I already did earlier, but just because there's always going to be that one guy that says it's not true or whatever. But yeah, really nice trade. There are the executions. And I mean, that's pretty much it. Like I said, just quickly recap why I was bearish, because we had bearish SMT at previous day's high. And then remember, SMTs on their own are not enough to give you a bias. You need to pay attention to narrative and look at what the reaction of the SMT is. Just any random SMT doesn't necessarily matter without context. But the context of this SMT is the fact that we have these relative equal lows, and then what is the reaction of the SMT? A huge displacement move lower. So this entire bullish for value gap gets completely ran through, telling us that the draw on liquidity is certainly not this high, and that it's some form of sell side. Now, what form of sell side is it? It's probably going to be equal lows, right? So that's what gave me my bearish bias. And then, like I said, market opens. We come up, we tap the 15-minute gap. Bearish SMT gets put in, a little bit of chop. Eventually, we get the 1 minute inverse, and then really clean move. So yeah, that was today's trade. Pretty clean.